Guys, what is going on? This is Intelligent Psycho. So, I'm doing a movie review, more like an out of theater reaction for the movie Drop that just came out on Friday, April the 11th. But I'm doing a review today. So, this directed by Christopher Landon, starring Meghann Fanny as Violett. So, Violett is a widow mother on the first date in years from an abusive relationship from her ex husband. So years takes on a terrifying turn when she is bombarded with anonymous threatening messages on her phone during her upscale dinner, leaving her questioning if her charming date is beyond behind the embarrassment. So this also directed by Christopher Landon, Jillian Jacobs, and Chris Roach was the writers. Also starring Brandon's Sklenar as Henry, Violett being as her sister Jen, and Jacob Robinson as her son Toby. And coming out of the movie, man, I didn't really have as much expectation. Didn't really even know about the film. So they are in this five star restaurant called a Pilate. It's the 5-star dining restaurant, and I've noticed about that restaurant. I think they kind of just built that and designed that because it looks really fresh. It's like a 15-story building they was in on her first date and everything. So both of them is kind of getting nerves. Her interest that her love interest that she wants to have really a relationship with. This new guy that she found on a blind date through social media was a actual photographer who was taking photos and taking cameras, and also working under this behind the scene, working with the mayor and working, for the government down in Chicago. So yeah, this is a Pilates, a 5-star dinner restaurant that they had met of, and that they decided to go on a date for down in Chicago. So where the movie is also starting taking place. So coming out of the movie theater and seeing the reaction from it, and I really I for me the movie really picked up a lot. From in the very beginning. We kind of seen a lot of what was going on with her, feeling traumatized, feeling bombarded, feeling hurting from her past relationship, from violence, her past relationship. So she kind of feels like nervous, like she's getting back into the scene, getting back into things. So she kind of feels that burden and feels that weight behind her. So she's trying to get herself going, and she's trying to get herself like involved and just committing to going out and going on dates and trying to feel like she had to try to have herself a good time because she feels so at the time strung out. But seeing her in this light and for the movie, I was actually really impressed. For my biggest pros for the movie is pretty much the visuals and overall the cinematography and the look of it, from not just the direction from Christopher Landon, but whoever was doing the cinematography, whoever was doing the CG, whoever was doing the visuals for it was absolutely mesmerizing, absolutely gorgeous. But from the beginning point of the movie, that hooked me in. But as far as the storyline, really hooked me in as well. And I like the fact that they're using a lot of the modern technology in the movie as well, and made it less, you know, it made it less that it was trying to go back from the times. It made it less exposure. It made it more exposure and made it less, about just trying to. It made it more into the modern era than have it for less. And so overall, it gave me that feel of just adapting to the times, adapting with technology, and adapting to the surroundings and the environment, that she's in. And I like the fact that they was using a lot of the camera shots was showing up close, from noticing from the Pilates, from the restaurant building. Like you saw the text messages and the text threads in the movie where Violet kept getting these text threads and text messages from this anonymous known person. And I like the fact of how it was shown on the screen and the visuals of that. It made it look very, threatening, and it made it look more cryptic. And I like those aspects of it as well. And I really like the visuals of how we saw the visuals of the building. We saw the visuals of looking downwards, looking downwards from the restaurant, and you see in downtown in Chicago. Then you see in downtown from the restaurant in Chicago. I like the fact that it looks over there too, because more it made it more enthralling. It made it more like they was like, especially from Violet's perspective, because she looked like she was afraid of heights. And when Henry was asking her, he was asking her in the movie, he was like, "Are you afraid of heights?" Look like she was like, "Oh yeah, never really been up this high before now." So it kind of really made it feel more impactful, made it feel more enthralling from that sense. I also like from not just the visuals and not just from the overall direction. I like the acting as well, the performances. Mainly the two leads. You know, Meghann, Fahy, and Brandon Sklenar. They did a phenomenal job. They really did excellent with their performances, and it really kept me in tune. It kept me engaged from the very beginning, and it kept me just involved with watching it. I never felt bored. I never felt like I was looking at my watch or looking at the phone or looking at anything. I was just enthralled. I just kept me and self being in tune and being involved with the movie. So that's what really gravitated me myself was, and mainly because of those two leads and those two performances. Uh, I also really like the performances of her family, like their son. The kid played as Toby. I liked her sister in the movie too, who played as Jen. She Those two performances was also really really stunning as well. And I also like the bartenders in the movie. Mainly the bartender that was working there, played as Kara, played by Gabrielle Ryan. She was also really nice as well in the movie. She had a little impact, and she also was in the Tommy show Power Book 2 Ghost. I mean Power Book 4 excuse me, not Ghost. My fault. She was also in that show as well. So really it kept me in tune. So I like most of the performances throughout the movie that really kept me engaged. It kept me in tune, and the visuals and the overall just gorgeous shots and the cinematography. It felt really beautiful looking, felt mesmerizing, and it felt really gorgeous overall. So it kept me engaged with it, and it kept me in tune where something was going, where things were going later on. And the story overall, the subplots and the story, it was kind of a mixed bag. Like I really did like the way how it was showing both of them on the date, both of them kind of like not knowing how things are gonna go, and how they kind of was like just feeling schizophrenic, very cathartic, very schizophrenic, very mundane. And it also shows like the personalities, the feelings, the overall just scope of it. It really made it more. It made it more me and more in tune. It made it more of a feel good mood, but it also made it at the same time made it more cinematic. It made me feel more like if that was me, I was put in one of their shoes, both of their shoes. Rather I was put in, Henry's shoes. It's him trying to go on this blind date with this one woman that he had never seen before. Didn't even know at the time that she was had a son or was in a past relationship. So it kind it kind of kept me in tune with that. The biggest negatives, the two biggest negatives, the two biggest cons, mainly is the story. Because from the last half of the movie, because where she ends up knowing who was sending text messages and encrypted text messages and threads, telling her to go do commit this wrongdoing, kill this person, kill that person, because she's killed before. And who they revealed was the person that was sending her these messages, sending her these threats, sending her, doing these cryptic messages. And once she sits down with this guy towards the second half of the movie, and once we saw that aspect, I did not like that part at all. That part really in the third act really was just like, okay, really, you're really gonna go in this direction. You're really gonna go in this rabbit hole. I'm just like, no, that is not what I wanted to see. And it reminded me of a couple of movies actually that went in this direction too, that went to finding out who these actual like killers were, who these people were that just was sending her these threats and sending her these cryptic messages. It reminded me of a couple of movies in particular. One, it reminded me. Now, this is not a similar. It's not. These are not the same movies at all. So these are not. This is not a direct comparison. But just from the way it reveals who the person was that was sending her these messages and these threats, reminded me a lot of the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it also reminded me of another movie. Um, it reminded me of another movie, Scream. That's what it reminded me of a bit. And mainly, it reminded me a lot of the second one. That's what it reminded me of when I watched it, and I was just like, yeah, I was not feeling that. I was not feeling that the third act. To me, that's what kind of hurt a little bit of where I was thinking it was gonna go, man. Because I was thinking it was gonna go into a direction where, man, it could go high from there. Because it was really starting out really, really high. And just that third act just really kind of just dropped it by the ball and dropped the nail in the coffin with that. So that's the one thing I really didn't like about it, and is overall the story and the third act. The ending really didn't work for me and didn't really uh, hold weight to what was going on. And from where my rating was for the movie and where it was gonna go, because the movie started off, it was gonna be very high, around close to a 4-star rating. It was gonna be close to that, but for the ending, just really kind of just threw me off and didn't make much sense. And why the direction it went there and revealing of the mysterious person that was sending her these threats, I was just like, yeah, I'm not a fan of that part. Um, and the one thing I also didn't really like is I didn't really care that much for the runtime. I feel like the runtime was a little bit too short. I feel like this movie, the way it was going, could have been higher up. Could have been added on an extra 30 something minutes, and it could have made it more of a feel. It could have made it more. It could have made it more feel good with it. But that would be the only thing that I would say that takes away from that would be the only thing that takes away from the movie as far as that part of the quality with it. But overall, besides those negatives, besides those two cons with the movie, which I don't think that's gonna hurt my enjoyment, because I actually enjoyed the movie quite a bit, and I would definitely actually go back and rewatch this again because I just love the visuals. The visuals was really, really nice. I really liked the performances overall from everybody. I thought everybody killed it. I thought everybody did their thing with it, and I'm very much excited to hear what everybody else is thinking with it. So my rating for the movie out of 4, I give it a 3.5 out of 4 stars. I really did like this movie. Uh, I've seen a lot of reviews for for the movie, and it didn't for the movie drop, and it didn't really. I was trying to understand and connect with what was the dislike for it, but the story to me, as far as in the second half and the third act, is what really killed it. And to me, I would say if you just ignore those little aspects of it and ignore certain parts about it, go into it with low expectations, or just modest or middle of the road expectations, you might find some enjoyment from it. But for me, I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know going into it, looking forward to how it's going, how what was going to work with it. But for me, I give it a 3.5 out of 4 stars. And for me, my rating is out of 10 for recommendations too, because I do a 10-star rating for the recommendations. I give it an 8 out of 10. That's my score for the movie Drop. So tell me what you guys think. Check it out for yourself. And I want to thank everybody who came in and watched my review for it. And I see some people in the comment section. Oh, what's going on, Q? What's going on, Q? And 123 J DJ. What's going on? Yeah, man. So that's pretty much my thoughts for it. I actually like it. Check it out, man. And shout out to the overall scope, the overall direction, the overall performances. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, check this one out. Yeah, what's going on, Q? Please like and subscribe, share and subscribe to the channel, man. I always appreciate your thoughts about movies, man. And I always appreciate your thoughts. I always appreciate your reactions, out of the theater reactions, man. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe to the page, man. I'm gonna continue to do more of these. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts for the movie Drop. Tell me what you guys think. And yeah, that's all I got to say. So the next movie I'm gonna talk to you guys about is the movie Sinners, with directed by Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. That's the next movie I'm gonna be talking about in the upcoming week from now. So be on the lookout for that. So, and I cannot wait to see it. I've heard plenty of good reviews for it. And I'm going to be talking about some more news for the NBA playoffs as well. So check that out as well. So, all right, thank you guys for watching. I am out of here. Peace.